Hello, this is Mikey, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the April-May issue of the Polish American Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And obviously, we'll start with the first page, and it's all about Easter. An unmatched balance of faith, tradition, and folklore. Jesuit father. So let's start with Mass. And we have a picture here. Palms are blessed by Reverend Kozinski of Cleveland Shrine Church of St. Stanislaus, B&M, during Palm Sunday rites with the traditional Aspergillium. From Ash Wednesday to Easter Sunday, the shrine serves as a focal point for cultural identity and memory, sentiments embolically shared by all North American parishes that continue to identify with their Polish heritage. The Shrine Church of St. Stanislaus, Bishop and Martyr, stands as one of the most significant spiritual and cultural landmarks of Polish America. Rising in majestic Victorian Gothic splendor, often described as classic Polish cathedral style, the church remains the historic heart of Polish Catholic life in the former Warsaw neighborhood, today's Slavic village. More than a house of worship, it endures as a living archive of Polish religious tradition, sustaining generations of immigrants and their descendants through language, music, devotion, sacred art, and cultural continuity. Among its distinguished visitors were Cardinal Karol Wojtyla, later Pope John Paul II, who presented a relic of St. Stanislaus during his 1969 visit, and Polish leader Lech Walesa, who came in 2004. Recognizing its cultural and architectural importance, the church was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1976. A sacred honor. Founded in 1873 by Polish immigrants seeking both spiritual comfort and cultural familiarity, St. Stanislaus quickly became the religious heart of, let me turn to page 4, the community. The church's breathtaking interior, adorned with ornate altars, sacred iconography, stained glass, and intricate wood carvings, reflects the artistic and devotional traditions brought by from partitioned Poland by early settlers. Today, cultural programming and pastoral outreach continue to preserve Polish heritage while serving a diverse and evolving congregation. Language as spiritual memory. And I'm sorry, I wish I could read the Polish that says that same thing. Tears came to my eyes as the steeple bells rang and the Mass began in Polish. In that moment, language transcended communication. It became an ancestral memory and spiritual inheritance. Hearing the liturgy within the monumental sanctuary reinforced how deeply faith and national identity remain intertwined within this Polish culture. The shrine continues to offer Polish language literatures that connect worshippers to centuries of tradition. The experience held particular personal meaning. I was raised in the Polish Mass tradition, a constant that ended with the closure of my home parish, St. Michael the Archangel, in 1998. sacred music has long been central to the parish's identity. The church maintains an active program led by David Krakowski, Director of Liturgy and Music. During Lent, Holy Week, Easter, and Divine Mercy Sunday, the shrine becomes a vessel of memory, identity, and cultural preservation, where centuries-old Polish devotions remain vibrantly alive. The sound of Polish Lent. Among the most treasured traditions preserved at the shrine is, Bitter Lamentations, a uniquely Polish Lenten devotion, rarely encountered outside Poland and Polish diaspora communities. The reverential devotion originated in the early 18th century at Holy Cross Church in Warsaw. It developed from popular religious songs sung by villagers, carrying echoes of folk melody, medieval passion mystery plays, and elements of the morning prayer tradition. Today, as many ethnic parishes in the United States have closed or merged, this devotional treasure risks disappearing. The shrine remains one of the American churches where the tradition continues to flourish. Palm Sunday, entering Holy Week. Palm Sunday, known in Poland as Niedziela, Meki, Pańszczyzna, as well as Kwitna or Wisbna. I'm so sorry, I absolutely murdered those. Better you should have some idea what they're talking about. The ritual procession commemorates Christ's triumphal entry into Jerusalem while foreshadowing in the Passion narrative that defines the week. Visiting priest Reverend Stephen Kozinski blessed the palms using the traditional aspergillum. Echoes of the Old World. Easter at the shrine resonates with Old World grandeur. Trumpets sound and resound throughout the sanctuary. Incense rises in solemn procession, and ancient hymns fill the vast interior. The atmosphere remains spiritually electrifying. With fragrant incense rising above the altar, Pastor Reverend Eric Orsech celebrated Easter Mass. Excuse me. In many parts of the modern world, liturgical simplification has reduced ceremonial pageantry. At St. Stanislaus, however, these rituals continue to evoke the richness that once defined Polish religious life. The jubilant cry of Alleluia, derived from the Hebrew phrase meaning praise Yahweh, marks the culmination of the liturgical journey. In Polish tradition, Easter carries multiple names, including Niedziela, Wielkanocna, Wielka Niedziela, and Zmartwychwstanie Pańskie. Folk customs intertwine Christian theology with ancient Slavic spring rituals, such as Jare, and numerous religious observances preserve centuries of communal memory. Tradition in diaspora. Despite rehearsal schedules at Cleveland Playhouse, I determined to keep my Polish Easter customs alive. Preparing even a modest meal in my apartment brought profound fulfillment. My improvised Easter table included white barszcz, cucumber salad, bigos, hard-boiled eggs, and a quickly decorated pisanka, Cleveland's Krakow Deli provided smoked kielbasa, kabanosi, pierogi, zwikla, makoik, rollada, orzekawa, pickled cucumbers, horseradish, and Paschal lamb confections. Homemade biala kielbasa came from St. Stanislaus Parish itself, while fresh rye bread was purchased at the historic West Side Market. In Polish custom, families gather after Resurrection Mass to share blessed foods from the Swikanka basket. Each item carries symbolic meaning: eggs, new life and resurrection; bread, Christ as the bread of life; salt, purity and preservation; sausage or ham, abundance and prosperity; horseradish, the bitterness of sacrifice; cake, joy and celebration. Even far from ancestral homelands, these rituals reaffirm identity, family, continuity, and spiritual belongings. Poland's global spiritual gift. The Feast of the Divine Mercy, celebrated on the first Sunday after Easter, represents one of Poland's most influential modern spiritual contributions to the Universal Catholic Church. Inspired by the revelations received by Saint Faustina Kowalska, the pious devotion emphasizes God's boundless mercy and forgiveness. Completed after nearly a decade of parishioners' offerings, the new Divine Mercy Shrine crowns the parish's recent devotional renewal. It features a wood-carved altar by Norbert Kohn and Charles Gila, painted from Czestochowa by Mariusz Gronman, and reliquaries by Kohn. Gila carved the slender spire, remodeled on the Fesch of Notre Dame de Paris. Sponsored in part by St. Stanislaus alumni. The shrine houses relics of St. Faustina beneath her image and of St. Peregrine, patron of cancer patients and those with life-threatening illnesses, beneath St. John Paul II. A living legacy. As demographic shifts reshape American Catholic life, the Shrine Church of St. Stanislaus stands as both a monument to immigrant perseverance and a living center of Polish spiritual tradition. For Polish Americans and visitors alike, it remains not only a church, but a bridge connecting past, present, and future generations of Polonia. 5 questions with David Krakowski, Director of Liturgy and Music, Shrine Church of St. Stanislaus in Cleveland. And there's a picture of him playing an amazing organ with many, many layers. What is the role of music during Lent in a Polish parish? The role of music during Lent is that of simplicity and seriousness. With Easter, all stops are pulled out: trumpets and timpani, resurrection and Alleluia chorus, part of our tradition. Why is the Gorski Zal so important? The tradition makes Lent feel like Lent more than any other devotion in a Polish parish. Each Sunday we sing one part following the Polish Mass and conclude with benediction and a hymn to the theme. This is just a quick reminder. You're listening to a reading of articles and features from the Polish American Journal on the Niagara Frontier radio reading service. What makes the Polish Mass musically unique? Polish Masses contain music from different generations, not only hymns from the hymnal, but newer hymns reflecting Poles who emigrated after World War II and later. How does the church building itself shape worship? The church's architecture and decorations contribute to the feeling of mystery and the sacred in a special way. The cavernous space allows the music to resound beautifully, enhancing all our services. What role does Divine Mercy play in the Easter season? With the completion of our Divine Mercy Shrine and the relics of Christ's Passion, death, and resurrection, Divine Mercy Sunday is the highlight of Easter. Throughout the season, we sing the Divine Mercy Litany during communion. Final thought, our hope is that everyone who leaves the liturgy carries the beauty of the experience into their everyday lives. I wish you could see the pictures of the church. It's quite beautiful. Middle East evacuation. Warsaw scrambled to return home its citizens as tensions rose in the Middle East following the U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran. Flights from UAE, Oman, Israel, Jordan, and Lebanon returned almost 3,000 Poles. The Polish government felt the immediate need to evacuate nationals working and living in Qatar, which was under ballistic missile and drone attacks. LOT Polish Airlines supported Polish military planes. Government VIP flights were halted and the fleet redirected to evacuation. Military hospitals were placed on alert should returning citizens need medical care. EU will co-finance the operation under its civil protection mechanism if Polish flights include other EU nationals. Possible Epstein-Russian connection examined. Poland will investigate the late sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein's ties to Russian intelligence and their effects on Poland, according to Prime Minister Donald Tusk. The U.S. Justice Department released millions of Epstein's internal records, revealing his contacts to key business, education, political, and finance people before and after his 2008 prosecution plea for prostitution. A committee will probe Epstein's Polish crimes, including Russian Secret Service complicity, Tusk added. The Russian Foreign Ministry did not immediately address Tusk's writings. The Russian embassy in Warsaw took a while to react to an email. Quote, I do not need to tell you how serious the increasingly likely possibility that Russian intelligence services co-organize this operation is for Polish security, he stated. More leads, information, and commentary in the global press all point to Russian intelligence services co-organizing this unprecedented pedophilia scandal. Tusk added, this can only mean that they also possess compromising material against many still active leaders. Moscow denies an Epstein connection. Maria Zakharova, Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, said in December So now let me go on. Sorry for the coughing. And we'll check back and see what else is on the front page. Made in Poland. Under communist control, widespread shortages, severe censorship, and economic mismanagement defined the country. Not anymore. And this is written by Beatrice Jedrzejczyk. Over the past few decades, Poland has transformed from a post-communist state into one of Central Europe's fastest-growing economies. Today it ranks among the world's 20 largest economies by nominal GDP. Domestic enterprises have grown in strength and sophistication, shaping not only the lives of Poles, but also influencing global markets, from video games and tech startups to manufacturing and retail. Polish innovation has reached an audience far beyond its borders. This economic rise also produces a new class of extremely wealthy entrepreneurs. Poland's strategic location at the crossroads of Europe, combined with its skilled workforce and expanding infrastructure, has attracted international investors and strengthened its position on the global stage. Poland is home to business leaders whose influence extends well beyond the country's borders. At the forefront is Michael Solowów, Solowów, worth $14.1 billion, known for his investments in chemicals. We turn to page 7 and continue. Industrial manufacturing and small nuclear reactor technology. In the pharmaceuticals sector, Jerzy Starak, Starak, has built a fortune of $5.6 billion, while Tomasz Biernacki, also valued at $5.6 billion, has transformed Dino into Poland's fastest-growing grocery chain. There is one convenience store that feels impossible to escape in Poland. It seems that on every corner stands a Zabka shop, which literally translates to little frog. This chain has become an internet meme. Online, people joke that a trip to Poland is incomplete without a stop at a Zabka because of its mouth-watering hot dogs, chicken sandwiches, pizzas, and kanki. Some high-tech and experimental locations even feature a robot serving customers. By the end of 2025, the company had opened more than 12,000 locations nationwide, with big expansion continuing. Back in 1998, when the country was still transitioning from communism, the first 2 locations were established in Poznan and nearby Swardziec by Mariusz Switalski, who also ranks among the richest Poles. He was also involved with Elektromus, a controversial trading and import-export company, and Eurocash, a key supplier for retailers across the country. Other notable billionaires include technology investor and former richest man of Poland, Sebastian Kulczyk, his daughter, Dominika Kulczyk, an investor and founder of the philanthropic initiative Kulczak Foundation. They are joined by media mogul Zygmunt Solorzak, founder of the private television network Polsat, and Paweł Marszewska, founder of the video game company Techland, also ranks among the country's most influential figures. Dariusz Milek is the founder of the footwear retail chain CCC and the discount retailer Half Price, 2 brands that have become nearly ubiquitous across Poland. Together they show how strong Poland's economy has become. Their influence spans manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, technology, media, and retail. International marketing. Many of Poland's most powerful companies are expanding beyond national borders. From retail and gaming to energy, these firms are making an impact in key markets across Europe and North America, showcasing Poland's growing role on the world stage. Energy giant Orlen, headquartered in Płock and founded by Polish state investor after the 1990s privatization, dominates the region and supplies fuel and power across Europe. In fashion, LPP, based in Gdansk and founded by Marek Piechocki and Jerzy Lubianek, has made brands like Reserved and Crop into familiar names abroad. Solaris, a leading bus and coach manufacturer founded by Krzysztof Olszewski in Bolechowo near Poznan, provides electric public transport vehicles across Europe. And Booksy, the Warsaw-based booking app founded by Stefan Batory, has also gained popularity in the United States. Many of these companies are also integral to Polish pop culture and appeal to audiences of all ages. Allegro, an e-commerce company worth millions and sometimes called the Polish eBay, was founded in 1999 in Poznan and has grown into one of Central Europe's largest online marketplaces. Every year, the site is flooded with shoppers hunting for rare items and holiday deals, including many members of American Polonia. Allegro has also expanded into Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic, serving customers internationally and demonstrating the global reach of Polish innovation. Another business crossing over to other European countries is InPost, which was founded by billionaire Rafał Brzoska. The company offers parcel locker services, commonly called Paczkomatu, which are popular across a wide range of demographics. InPost operates in the United Kingdom, France, Italy, the Benelux countries, Spain, and Portugal. Drutix, a leading window and door manufacturer headquartered in Bytow in western Kashubia, exports products to more than 90 countries. According to Forbes' private company rankings, it is valued at 430 to 500 million. The company is currently led by Kamila Gierszewska, who assumed leadership after the passing of her husband, Leszek Gierszewski, in late 2025. Poland's global influence is not limited to business. Its culture, particularly innovative video games, has reached millions worldwide. Folk-inspired Slavic music can be heard across various social media platforms, showcasing Polish video game culture worldwide. Wrocław-based Techland is valued at about 1.5 to 1.6 billion and is known for releasing highly successful projects beloved around the world. These include the open world horror game Dying Light 2015, the tropical zombie survival game Dead Island in 2011, and a Western-style shooter series Call of Juarez in 2016. Even people who might not be avid gamers are likely to be familiar with The Witcher, a widely recognized fantasy series originally published by Andrzej Sapkowski in 1990. The books inspired a 13-episode show that aired on Polish television and became a cult classic. In 2007, The Witcher was released for PC by the Warsaw-based developer CD Projekt Red. This series became a worldwide phenomenon in 2015 with the release of the open-world game The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. CD Projekt Red has a market value of about $6.94 billion, and its founder, Marcin Irwinski, is worth over $900 million, while the co-founder, Michael Kiczinski, is estimated to be at least $671 million. Dubbed the Polish Lord of the Rings, The Witcher has helped introduce a new generation of Americans to Polish literature and culture. Through the games, fans have discovered Poland in non-traditional ways, from folklore and mythology to language and urban landscapes, sparking lively discussions on online forums and gaming communities worldwide. Another globally successful series released by CD Projekt Red, is one that does not have typical Slavic aesthetics at first glance. I'm just going to remind you, you're listening to a reading of articles and feature from the Polish American Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And it's half past the hour. Let's see where we're going to go next. Cyberpunk 2077 is a game set in a futuristic dystopian city whose citizens have cybernetic body modifications. Polish cultural references are scattered throughout the game world. Despite its problematic debut in 2020 due to technical issues and glitches, it has become a fan favorite thanks to subsequent updates. The animated 10-episode show Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which was written and produced by Raphael Jacki, was released on Netflix in 2022, received widespread critical praise. Worth noting is that Poland is a significant contributor to the European IT market. The country continues to attract foreigners and returning migrants who relocate to the major tech hubs to study at leading universities or enter the workforce directly. Cities such as Warsaw, Wrocław, Katowice, and Gdansk are popular destinations thanks to their academic institutions, fast-growing markets, and growing number of international IT companies. The list includes Microsoft, IBM, Samsung, and Dell Technologies. Asiko, Poland, founded in Rzeszów, that's Rzeszzow, in 1991 by Adam Goral, is one of the country's largest IT firms. Interestingly, it initially operated under the name Comp Rzeszów, and was a ketchup company. Today, the company's market capitalization is approximately 12.1 to 12.2 billion PLN, around 333.38 billion, reflecting on the total value of its shares on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. Another Polish IT company is ComArch, established in 1993 by Janusz Filipiak, a professor of telecommunications at the AGH University of Science and Technology in Krakow. It began as a small academic spin-off and has evolved into one of Poland's most recognizable technology firms. Over the years, Comarch has grown into an international provider of advanced IT solutions, serving clients in telecommunications, finance, healthcare, retail, and public administration. The company operates in dozens of countries across Europe, the Americas, and Asia, and delivers services such as enterprise resource planning, systems, and cybersecurity solutions to cloud computing and digital transformation projects. The list of public businesses can be further expanded. Without a doubt, land across the Vistula River is establishing itself as a magnet for leaders in innovation, from startups and thriving tech companies to globally recognized video games and modernized urban centers. The country has become attractive for young investors, engineering talent, and international businesses. Its entrepreneurs are proving that Polish ingenuity and ambition can succeed on the world stage. The nation's transformation shows no signs of slowing down. Thanks to growing interest in Poland through social media, first and even second generation Polish Americans are traveling to the land of their ancestors. Okay, that was very informative. Okay, let's see what else we have. An Easter Message from Jesus via Saints Matthew and Mark by Mark Cohen. Over centuries, traditions and practices change. Luckily for Poles and Polish Americans, our Easter customs have endured these tests. However, as Poland's global power grows in tandem with its integration, change is inevitable. Easter egg hunts and Easter gifts, hidden by the Easter Bunny, are two examples of Western traditions gaining popularity as the Church's influence in modern society wanes. Fewer Poles identify as Roman Catholic. Excuse me. This is especially true in rural Poland, which is experiencing complex population shifts. Some villages are shrinking as people move away and become older, while others, particularly those near major cities, are expanding due to suburbanization. Suburbs are less likely to have common ground, cultural and religious institutions, for example, where traditions through social interactions are reinforced. Assimilation and intermixing are nothing new in Polonia. We have experienced them since our ancestors arrived here. We now serve pierogi at Easter and tolerate Polish folk songs in English. When was the last time you asked your priest to bless your home and inscribe K+M+B on your doorway for the Feast of Three Kings? What to do? Ethnologists have chronicled the many and different customs of Polish Easter. These indigenous behaviors are more than just essential for our culture. They define us. However, reading about Holy Saturday basket blessing and actually taking one to church is not the same thing. If we want our children and grandchildren to understand the delights and complexities of our past and faith, we must make an effort. Unfortunately, how often we have heard or said, "No one ever showed me how to make pisanki." Our church does not bless baskets, or why waste money on a butter lamb? Bez prashki ni ma kolashi al. Sorry, I absolutely butchered that. I have no idea what it means. There's no gain without pain. There you go. That's what it means. Find an organization offering egg decorating lessons in your region. Talk to your priest about implementing the blessing in your parish. Purchase or make your own butter or cake lamb for your Easter feast. The internet has plenty of information about our Easter traditions, so even if you do not live in a traditional Polonia, you may learn how to do them on your own or with family. Or if you are ailing or of the age where this is no longer possible, share your recollections with your children, grandchildren, or younger relatives. Good advice. And let's see what else we've got here. Let me just find you the best article. I don't seem to. Polish Jesuit Father Peter Skarga is honored. At a ceremony in his hometown of Grodziec, Poland, Father Peter Skarga, S.J., was awarded honorary citizenship of the town, only the fourth person in its history to be so honored. Father Skarga, 1536 to 1612, whose cause for beatification is underway, was remembered as a royal preacher who worked to heal the social and internal wounds of Poland. Education, charitable works, and ministries of mercy were recalled as his particular focus. A mass was offered, and then representatives of the Polish Parliament, local government, public institutions, the armed forces and uniformed services, schools, and standard-bearing delegations gathered at the monument to one of the most notable Polish Jesuits, where a brief ceremony was held and a wreath and candle were placed. These celebrations inaugurated the year of Peter Skarga in Grodziec, during which other educational, cultural, social, and religious events will take place. Pope Leo XIV sends help to the Ukraine, responding to freezing winter temperatures and the loss of home heating because of Russian bombardment. The Pope sent a convoy of medical supplies as well as heaters into Ukraine. Vatican almoner Conrad Cardinal Krajewski oversaw the transfer of supplies. The Pope thanked Catholics across Europe for their generosity in offering aid. Opposed pro-abortion professor, Springfield, Illinois. Bishop Thomas Peprocki, the former Illinois Congressman Dan Lipinski, joined a wide variety of Catholic bishops who opposed Notre Dame's nomination of pro-abortion professor Susan Osterman as director of the Liu Institute for Asia and Asian Studies. The pro-abortion Osterman's appointment as a program director was seen as a betrayal of Notre Dame University's claim to be a Catholic university. Students and alumni joined the bishops in their opposition. Osterman withdrew her name from nomination. Ex-Congressman Lipinski will be remembered as the only pro-life Democrat in Congress. He was regularly opposed by Illinois Democrats until he was finally defeated in a primary by a pro-abortion Democrat. Stolat II, Bishop James Golka, on his appointment as 6th Archbishop of Denver, Colorado. He moves to Denver from Colorado Springs to replace current Archbishop Samuel Aquila. Archbishop Golka is 59 years old and was born in Grand Island, Nebraska, the fourth of 10 children. He studied at Creighton University and St. Paul Seminary. He joined the Colorado bishops in advocating for religious exemptions from COVID-19. vaccine mandates and in opposing Colorado's pro-abortion Reproductive Health Equity Act. He informed Catholic legislators voting for that bill that they were not to receive Holy Communion, until they had received absolution through confession. Bishop Joseph Dabrowski, on his appointment as 10th Bishop of the Diocese of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Bishop Dabrowski moves to Hamilton from Charlottetown, PEI, Canada. The Polish native was born in Wysoka Stryzowka and has been a member of the Congregation of St. Michael the Archangel since 1982 and served as a superior in that religious order. New PAC chaplain. The Polish-American Congress, Western New York Division, announced the appointment of Father Jacek Mazer as chaplain and director of the WNY PAC, Western New York PAC. Father Mazer fills a vacancy that resulted from the passing of Reverend Czesław Kryza. This is just another fast reminder. You're listening to a reading of articles and features from the Polish-American Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. He is the parochial vicar for the Greater East Buffalo family of parishes that include St. Stanislaus, St. John Gualbert, St. Adelbert, St. Catherine Drexel, and Corpus Christi. Born in Poland, Father Mazer graduated in 2003 from St. Cyril and Methodius Seminary in Michigan. In 2004, he was ordained to the priesthood in Buffalo, New York. He also served as pastor of Divine Mercy and St. Mary of the Cataract parishes in Niagara Falls, New York. Knights of Columbus in action. Passing a fallen tree across the road, Adam Porzuskowski looked back and noticed a truck that had crashed. Going over to see if the driver needed help, he saw a young man slumped at the wheel and flames starting at the bottom of the vehicle. Praying to God for assistance, he was able to smash the window of the locked door and pull the driver out before the vehicle burst into flames. What Adam did, that's walking the walk, putting his faith in action, said Grand Knight Paul Bokunzewski at a at a ceremony in Porzukowski's honor. We were all deeply moved, humbled, and very proud. Knights from the Andrzej Bobola Council in Gdynia, Poland, constructed a playground named after Knights founder Blessed Michael McGivney at St. Stanislaus Kostka Parish. It was blessed by the pastor, Father Christoph Lazars, S.J. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. South Bend St. Stanislaus B&M launches capital campaign. Last year, St. Stanislaus B&M observed its 125th anniversary. The parish has undertaken a fundraising drive to ensure its role in the community as the number of parishioners rebounds. St. Stanislaus was on the verge of closure in 2014. However, through good stewardship and leadership, it has grown from roughly 150 parishioners in 2015 to approximately 500 today. Significant investment by the growing congregation has allowed for many improvements to both the basic physical plant as well as beautification of the worship space. The high altar that resides at St. Stan's was rescued from the Polish founded in St. Anthony's Parish in Toledo, Ohio. The altars also rescued St. Agnes in Omaha, Nebraska, where transformed, painted, and gold-leafed by the charitable time and talents of families of St. Stanislaus. To ensure the next generations will be provided a church that embodies the true, the good, and the beautiful, the parish has established a capital campaign to steward and sustain its home. The campaign to raise $1,700,000 has outlined the current needs. The Reverend Monsignor John C. Fritz among them are: ensure the structural integrity, create a proper nexus social space, provide for space for parents and little ones to retreat when needed, install enclosed confessionals, renovate the lower community space, furnish restrooms, construct shrines for St. Anthony, St. Therese, and St. Anne, refinish our pews, and upholster the kneelers. To assist in the campaign, the parish applied for a competitive grant, which is funded by the Lilly Endowment. In November of 2024, St. Stanislaus was awarded $125,000 for needed structural repairs. St. Stanislaus Bishop and Martyr is a parish of the Diocese of Fort Wayne South Bend and an apostolate of the FSSP Priestly Fraternity of St. Peter. St. Stanislaus is the only parish in the Michiana area dedicated to the traditional Latin Mass. It's located in South Bend. Poland's Martyr is Revisited, Part 2, by Stan Kimmick. The St. Maximilian Kolbe episode of Martin Scorsese Presents The Saints offers a dignified portrait of Poland's Franciscan martyr, created by Maddie Leshem and directed by Elizabeth Chumko. The 46-minute installment follows the series hybrid format, dramatized scenes interwoven with narration, archival imagery, and contextual commentary. Scorsese appears on camera as narrator, guiding viewers in a calm, reflective tone. His curatorial presence frames Kolbe's life within a meditation on sanctity, sacrifice, and faith under persecution. Filmed in Serbia, the episode stars Miljoje Obradovic as Kolbe, whose restrained performance captures both the friar's deep Marian devotion and his extraordinary resolve at Auschwitz concentration camp. Effective live-action reenactments depict key moments: Kolbe's childhood vision of the Virgin Mary, the founding of the great Franciscan press at Nipotka Lanau Monastery, and his final decision to volunteer his life in place of another prisoner. The visual palette, largely black and white, underscores historical gravity. Heightened lighting and expressive scoring guide the emotional arc. Faith is explained and affirmed rather than quietly discovered. Kolbe emerges less as a man evolving through circumstances than as a figure already formed, an emblem of sanctity whose spiritual clarity never wavers. The episode briefly acknowledges the difficult historical questions of Kolbe's references to the protocols of the Elders of Zion, ideas circulating widely in interwar religious polemics. These references played a minor role in his thought, and Kolbe later sheltered Jewish refugees in Nipokelano, his martyrdom at Auschwitz. Giving his life for a fellow prisoner remains a defining testimony to his charity towards all. For Polish viewers, Kolbe's story carries a particular resonance. His life touches the deep currents of Polish Catholic spirituality, Marian devotion, and wartime suffering. Reverent and visually composed, the episode is more of a devotional portrait, moving in its quiet reminder that heroism can arise from humble conviction. Okay. Buffalo, New York. PAC of Western New York to host Polish Arts Festival. The Polish American Congress Western New York Division, in collaboration with the town of Cheektowaga, will host the 46th Annual Polish American Arts Festival, July 24th, 25th, and 26th, 2026, at Cheektowaga Town Park, 2600 Harlem Road. The festival has been a mainstay in Western New York for almost 5 decades. Founded in 1979, following encouragement by then New York State Governor Hugh Carey. The introduction of the festival, at the governor's urging, would change the summer season for Western New York's Polish community for many years to come. The 3-day Cheektowaga Polish American Arts Festival is the area's oldest, largest, and most authentic Polish cultural event. It served as an extravaganza of Polish culture and features Polish traditional folk art, crafts, foods, dance, music, demonstrations, exhibits, and lectures. This year's festival has an incredible talent lineup from across North America, including Lenny Gomulka and the Chicago Push, polka country musicians John Gora and Goral, Pan Franek and the Polka Towners, Concertina All-Stars, 7, New Direction, and Special Delivery. The family-friendly event begins Friday, July 24th at 5 p.m. The festival starts at noon on Saturday and Sunday. Guests can enjoy the day until 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. The festival closes at 8 p.m. Sunday night. There will be a Catholic Mass held Saturday, July 5th, at 4 p.m. That's on the 25th. Admission to the event is free of charge to the public. The Polish American Congress is proud to produce this legacy event for the community, said James L. Lewicki II, President of the Polish American Congress, Western New York Division. Quote, "It is a highlight of the summer and showcases our wonderful and vibrant Polish culture for all to enjoy. We welcome everyone to attend. Watch this paper for updates and additional festival announcements." U.S. troops to remain stationed. Elbridge Colby, the Pentagon Under-Secretary of War for Policy, spoke before the House Armed Services Committee about U.S. military posture in Europe, notably Poland. Colby told committee chairman Mike Rogers that he would absolutely implement the president's guidance on U.S. troops, referring to Trump's White House meeting with Polish President Karol Nawacki, in which he pledged to keep U.S. forces in Poland and send more, quote, if they want. Rogers prompted Colby to confirm that U.S. forces in Europe would remain at 4 bridges, including 2 in Poland. Colby declined to commit, stating that the Pentagon would follow Trump's wishes. Despite Trump's earlier claim that European deployment changes would be minor, Rogers criticized the Pentagon for withdrawing a U.S. brigade from Romania last year without consulting Congress or allies, against advice from American commanders in Europe. You have been listening to a reading of articles and features from the April-May issue of the Polish American Journal. Your reader has been Mikey. I sincerely apologize for murdering so many Polish words. Thank you for listening. Let's be done.